think I escaped them. I'm safe in my room for now. Okay, you're here for a pen to paper. Woof, I just had a quick brush with death. Like from the Hound of the Baskervilles. Okay, so I'm here to get into what I read August and September, because I didn't really do one for August. Didn't read much these last 2 months, but the one I'm super excited to talk about is The Hound of the Baskervilles. Before I get to it though, I didn't talk about it yet. I did read The Triangle by Robert P. Otone, and I'm very excited. I'm going to be doing a special single book review for his book next week that's going to come out. Of course I have to do one for him because I just want to be a great supporter of his, and I'm a fan of his work. And I can't wait to read the second one in, I think it's called the Rise Trilogy. Anyway, so you'll see that next week, but this week it's Sherlock Holmes, Hound of the Baskervilles. Now, this beautiful book is old. It's the original illustrated Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Let me show you what the inside looks like. So I read this with a very good friend of mine, and look, it's beautifully illustrated. Everything is old looking. I just love it. I adore it. There's about 15 chapters. It's very easy to read. I have 4 other Sherlock Holmes novels in here. So I'll be doing another book read with my friend for Sherlock Holmes. Onward to the story of Sherlock Holmes. It's about Sherlock Holmes and Watson. You have them both at his house. There's such compelling characters in a short amount of time, but yet you know so much about them, and that is the genius of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's writing. He tells you so much in a few amount of words, and yet you are transported right away to the story. And there is a doctor who comes calling and asks for Sherlock Holmes's help because the heir of this man who died by the Hound of the Baskerville is coming to the estate to claim it as his own. And the doctor is fearful that this heir will lose his life since the family is cursed to have dealings with the Hound of the Baskervilles and die at the Hound's jaws. And so Sherlock Holmes meets this new heir and realizes that this heir is already being followed as soon as he sets foot in the UK, and sends Watson with this heir to the estate and tells Watson that he must tell him all the little details of what happens as he is there. And Sherlock Holmes has another case to attend to in London. Well, when we get to the estate, we come across the suspicious caretakers of the house, the Mr. and the Mrs. There's a crazy man on the moors. There's the Hound on the moors. There's this interesting brother-sister duo whom the heir falls in love with, Henry. The heir falls in love with the woman, the sister. And then Watson sees this other man on the moors, and the mystery just starts to thicken and unravel. It was an amazing plot. Everything so perfectly put together and so tight. It was such a joy to read. So definitely will be reading more of Sherlock Holmes. And the last one I'm going to talk about is The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary. I began this book a little bit before my own Scotland road trip, and then I read 3/4 of it while I was on my trip, which is really amazing because I didn't think I'd be able to get that much reading done. Actually, I thought I'd be able to read 2 books while I was there. Forget that. I was just so busy running around, sightseeing, that when I got to my hotels at night, I was exhausted, and then I would stay up till midnight just to call back here, speak to my kids and my husband, friends, and it was just, there wasn't a lot of time for reading. But I did get some. I finished it, It's about this man and this woman. I forget their names. And they come together by unforeseen, serendipitous circumstances on a road trip. They're both going to a mutual friend's wedding, and they're kind of stuck in this car together because several years ago they used to be in love, but they separated for reasons. And as the book goes on, it goes from his perspective and her perspective, and you come to understand those reasons. And yet it's the past and the present. But in the present, there's all these things that happen. They're not just the two of them. She's with her sister. He's with his friends. And they're all clumped into this car together, and things break down and things happen. It's just a fun, light read. Sometimes I found the main characters to be immature and frustrating. But I really did enjoy the male main character's best friend. He was interesting to dissect at times, and sometimes I didn't. It was hard to figure out what his intentions were. So I found that interesting. I like challenges like that. And then there was this odd trucker that came to their rescue a few times in different ways. And then they even have a stalker in the car. But it's all fun and light. And it was just a great read overall. I really did enjoy it. There were some serious points, but overall it was good. That I'm giving a 4 stars. And the last one there's one more. I just finished it today. It's Freefall by Jessica Barry. I read it with my local book club, the Delectable Reads group. And this one is about a woman who is on a plane and she crashes in the middle of nowhere. And it goes between her perspective and her mother's perspective. This young woman is not only just a crash survivor, she has to survive the road ahead of her because there are dangers waiting for her. And it also shows you how she survived her past. So she's a survivor, and that's kind of her storyline. And her mother, on the other hand, doesn't know what has happened to her daughter for many, many years. And it's her kind of rediscovering who her daughter was and is and who she could be if she's still alive. So it's interesting how it goes back and forth between their two perspectives. It was a good book overall. I'm giving it 3.5 stars. The only thing is it didn't feel fresh. It felt like a mishmash of scenes from different movies put together in one story. It was predictable. That's the only thing. But the moments where it was very intense and the scenes of terror and thrill were well written, they just weren't original, I found. So that's my only thing for that book. The book that I'm reading right now, called Hearts of Fire, 8 Women in the Underground Church and Their Stories of Costly Faith. Whether you believe in God or not, reading these stories where these women have convictions, strong convictions about what they believe in the countries where they're not allowed to believe what they believe is very touching and moving. And you can appreciate the fortitude and strength that they have to go through what they go through, to stand up for what they believe in. And I'm just on the second story right now. There's 8, I believe. So I can't say too much more because I'm in the middle of it, but overall, it's very good. Now, I'm excited to share with you my October reading plans. Last year, I had Jay from The World According to Jay, unless he's changed his channel name again. He picked my books that I was reading for October because, a scary, spooky reads month. But this year, since I've read a few horror books on my own, this year I've picked what I want to read, and I'm pretty sure that I'll have a great spooky reads month. So the first one that I want to share, that I'm really excited to share with you guys, is Transformations, a collection by Alexander Michael. I read his novella Everything is Summer. It was amazing. I love his writing style. It's very whimsical and lyrical, dark. Oh my goodness, these weird flies. I'll be giving this a single book review because Alex, we're good friends, right? And I want to support you. and I think it's really important. So I can't wait to read this and give my review on it. There's that one. Then I have Beasts of the Caliber Lodge, a horror novel by L.J. Doherty. I'm also going to give this one a single book review because I also want to help out the the author as much as I can. I was supposed to read this back in January. I just haven't picked it up yet, but this is the month to do it, so I'm going to be reading this. It looks great. Then the friend who did the buddy read with me with Sherlock Holmes and the Hounds of the Baskervilles lent me this book called Tribe on Homecoming and Belonging by Sebastian Junger, and it's history, psychology, and anthropology books. I'm really, really intrigued by this book. It's a short read. I think I'll be able to get it done for this month, so I'm excited for that. I had an author reach out to me. Her name is Jaslyn, and she asked me to review 3 of her 10,000 poetry novellas. So I'll be reviewing one this month, one November, and one December. The one I'm reviewing this month is called Virus I Never Forget by Jaslyn. So I'll be reading that one and also putting out a single book review for that one. And let me make sure I'm not forgetting any others. Oh yes, and along with my friend who did the buddy read with me of Sherlock Holmes, Hound of the Baskervilles, we're also going to be reading The Murder of Roger. Right, Roger. I always think it's Richard, but it's Roger. Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie, and that is one of her most well-known and controversial books. I'm curious to know why it's controversial, so I'm really, really excited to dive into that one. What else? Oh yes, 2 more. The Train to Impossible Places by P.G. Bell. I'm reading that with my Rambling readers, and we're going to be discussing that. I believe it's mid-October, so stay tuned for that. I'll be putting up the link to that soon. And the last one is Burning of the Plans by Tyler Jones. I'm so excited to dig into this one because I raved about Almost Ruth in January, earlier this year. It was incredibly written. I love his style as well, so I can't wait to get my hands on that one and read it. It's also a short story collection, and it's going to be signed, so I'm excited for that. Tell me, what was your favorite read in September? What are you looking forward most to in October? If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe for AuthorTube on Wednesdays and BookTube on Fridays. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week.